What's up, guys? It's Johnny Candido of Candido Training HQ. As you can tell by the title, this is going to be on a controversial subject, but it's one that I feel needs to be addressed because I have been asked about it before, and I understand that if you're involved in a strength sport like powerlifting, then the topic of steroids is really inevitably going to get brought up. Now, I was originally planning on making this video my opinion on the use of steroids, but the reason why I decided to go with the title, Why I Will Never Use Steroids, is because I don't want this to be a video where I'm preaching what you should do based on my beliefs. See, I don't believe that there is any morality with this issue. If you want to use steroids and it makes sense in your situation for your goals, then I don't see anything wrong with it. However, for my situation, I'm just giving my reasons why I won't. Although I will add that if you are using steroids and are entering in tested competitions, and you're marketing yourself as a natural, then I do believe that's a moral issue. But if you're doing it and you decide that you want to go that route and you're honest about it, and you're competing either in untested competition or just not even competing at all, then I personally see no issue with that. But as far as me specifically, I would say I have three main reasons why I never use steroids and why I'm not even tempted to use it in the future. The first one is the legality of the whole situation. Is that it is obviously illegal to use steroids in the United States. And that's something that people have to consider even if they think that steroids perhaps aren't that harmful or if they think it should be allowed in sports. You just have to consider the fact that it is illegal and there are ramifications for that. I would compare it to smoking weed where people say that it's not that dangerous, it's not as bad as cigarettes. And that may be true, but you have to deal with the fact that even if it is wrongfully so, it is illegal. So you're accepting a significant risk, and it's not just in getting caught, but it's also in you don't necessarily know what you're putting into your body. Because obviously it's not going to be regulated if you're buying something illegal, so you never know exactly what you would get. And personally, I would just never take that risk with my own body. And that ties into my second reason, which is just overall health. And obviously steroid use isn't going to be conducive to living as healthy of a lifestyle as possible. Now, I don't think it's necessarily as evil as some people make it out to be, but as I said, it's just clearly not good for you overall. I personally have a holistic approach when it comes to my training, where I don't cut out cardio, I don't drastically bulk just so I can lift heavier weights. I always try to be pretty healthy while lifting weights and just work on general athleticism, general health while training for powerlifting. Also, I'm a very competitive person, so if I were to make that leap, it'd be hard to retain a sense of moderation moving forward, because then obviously once you're not natural, it doesn't matter how much you use, it's all considered equal competition. So it essentially rewards the person who uses the most once you do decide to use. There's no moderation involved. So that'd be very difficult for me to have to pull myself back, so I don't even want to take that step ever in my life and have to worry about that. And that leads me to my last point, which is that for competition, I compete in the USAPL and IPF, and those are drug-tested meets where steroids are obviously not allowed. So as I said earlier, I have no problem with someone who wants to use steroids and just does their own thing or competes untested, but now once you're competing in a tested federation, in my opinion, it is extremely immoral to use steroids and then compete and just try to beat people who are drug-free. And I want to point out that I did mention before that drug testing is extremely ineffective. And this is still true, unfortunately. But when it comes to these tested competitions, I do think, as I said, it's more of an issue of morality. I think if someone wanted to use steroids and get away with it, that they could, and I'm sure that many people have and still do. However, I think that not everyone's going to do this because some people do have strong morals and do care about that side of it rather than just trying to do anything to win a competition. Also, I want to say that if I wasn't competing in powerlifting, I personally still wouldn't use no matter what, because personally I just enjoy lifting and I enjoy the progression. I don't really care too much about comparing myself to others if it wasn't for the competitions. So I would just lift and just be happy with my progress and just not care about where I stand. So that's it, guys. Those are my three main reasons for why I don't use steroids and why I never will. There are some other smaller reasons like the money aspect and programming. If I were to use steroids, those would cloud my ability to come up with effective programs because now I'm adding in other variables. But as I said, this is a personal decision and these are just my reasons. I didn't want to preach to you guys, but I will just give one piece of advice that if you are drug-free and you decide to be a natural lifter, to not get too wrapped up into the effects of steroids. I see some people where they look it up too much and they keep thinking about how they're natural and about what would happen if they were on steroids. If you do this, you're going to psych yourself out and make you feel bad about your progression. And you're going to just always be intrigued by something that you're not going to do, which is entirely pointless. Just focus on what you're doing and trying to maximize that to the best of your abilities. Alright, that's it guys. Like the video, support the channel, subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching guys. Peace!
I tried to tell all my friends when I was a kid that I had powers, and nobody wanted to believe me.